本節目內主持人及嘉賓的言論純屬個人意見，並不代表本台立場。
Hi.
Hey.
Yeah, we're back.
We're back.
Comes the second session.
And we're going to express our definitions of localism.
We were in a discussion about earlier, actually off mic, and we were in a discussion about how would we define localism, which apparently the three of us doesn't have the same definition.
Because there is no official definition to begin with.
I would say there's not such an official, but you know, some kind of scholars, different scholars, they do have they did compose some theories and they did raise some kind of definition. And let me say it's more structuralized and it's more recognizable.
Like?
Well, like according to Professor Law Wing Sang of Linglang University, he traced the rise of localism in early 70s, and it's a conceptual term expressing the affection of Hong Kong culture and values by those born and raised in the city. So,
born and raised in the city.
That doesn't make sense. I mean,
no, actually,
for this program anyway.
In some sense, it makes sense.
It's too broad. It's
well,
too
it
vague.
does. Well, actually, for my personal point of view, localism is actually a loose umbrella of terms. So there are, you know, nowadays there are different theories of localism, like we got nation building, we got universal suffrage, we got the pandan style, which they claim themselves as also doing benefits for locals. So what I would say is, in my point of view, localism is actually how would you preserve or how would you fight for the benefits of which would benefit the locals, as simple as that. And so different theories or different approaches, like building a nation or whatsoever, or independence, or universal suffrage, or building the democratic China, that kind of stuff, would be different approaches.
It's just different means of achieving that, it seems.
But you would include building a democratic China as part of localism?
Not quite. I'll just take it as an example. Well, I couldn't say, you know, there's somehow some kind of possibility if there is someone who is willing, or if his goal is to build a democratic China, but meanwhile he would fight for, you know, he wouldn't compromise for the benefits of Hong Kong. Well, though in reality it's not possible. I don't think
it's kind of
the
two conflicted, you know.
It is kind of, but well, you couldn't, you know, kick him out if he is fighting for local benefits.
For me, I basically just see localism as ethnic separatism, meaning that ethnicism and separatism. Ethnicism meaning Hong Kong people being a people, Hong Manjuk, and being not Chinese. And the final goal for ethnic separatism is independence.
So it's not defined by blood. It's not race, right? It's
That's
not
right.
race. Yeah, definitely not.
It's ethnicity, which is different from race.
Because that's a really interesting term. Because when Ben mentioned earlier about 民族, 民族 is not simply defined by races, but is about the whole ethnicity, which interprets tons of personal identities. How would you identify yourself? Hence, like in Hong Kong right now, people who was born in the 90s or 80s, 70s, well, they kind of identify themselves as they're born in Hong Kong. They were born in Hong Kong, and they were raised in Hong Kong, and they were, well, what we say in Cantonese, they drink milk of Hong Kong to be themselves. So it's kind of a 生於斯長於斯 idea. That is, how would you pay back the place who raised you, and how would you fight?
So it's about contribution.
The contribution, and that is kind of how would you identify yourself, and in terms of, moreover, in terms of culturally, like the TV series that they have watched or the same century, the same era, and they were facing the same problems. Like in the earlier days of Hong Kong, there were like a pests problem, there were like hygiene problems and stuffs.
So basically, it's about what brings people together.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of true.
Well, this also brings kind of relates to another issue, which is like what we're facing today. Like today we have basically a daily 150 immigrants from mainland China, and while the government of Hong Kong has absolutely no say or whatever it is about what people can come, what people cannot come.
It's 150 cases, but not 150
those known cases.
immigrants.
And those are known cases. We haven't included those unknown cases. And yet they, as we have noticed, those people they come to Hong Kong. They're not adapting. They're not adapting to the Hong Kong way of life. They're actually bringing whatever habits they have been having back in mainland China.
Yep.
And that causes conflicts, pretty much like
cultural conflicts.
Yeah, cultural conflicts. Pretty much like the Muslims when they're moving into the Europe as refugees, and instead of blending or instead of adapting into the country that they moved to, they're asking the governments of those of the country to change the laws to suit their needs and stuff. So that's pretty much the opposite of localism.
Well, actually, I thought it was kind of common sense because, well, see, Hong Kongers, I'm not so sure if there are Hong Kongers, but anyway, the people who were living in Hong Kong before 97, and there are tons of them who seek to immigrate to other places before the 97, before the takeover of the PRC, and by the time they're gonna do exams if they are willing to move to another countries before they could get the citizenship of those countries, like hence Canada. There are.
It's basically about the test for languages and.
For languages, and if you
whether
know
you have
what
to know what life is like in.
If you know how to sing the national anthem of the country, and if you know who's the prime minister and whatsoever, and all the stuffs. So actually, for Hong Kong nowadays, Well, apparently there are quite a lot of immigrants from mainland, and they don't even know, and they don't give pretty much don't give a damn about what's happening in Hong Kong and the culture and whatsoever.
They're not changing it. They want us to change.
Yeah.
Basically, it's like that.
And they're asking us to change.
And I think we have some pictures. Are we going to show to our audiences? What else about?
Well, yeah, we do have some pictures. Well, we can show. This is what happens earlier in the fishbowl revolution. Well, this is actually quite a significant picture about. There's a protester and covering himself up all from his
head to toe
head to toe, and carrying bricks and stuff.
Are those bricks?
I'm not so sure. Hopefully not.
Okay.
I know. Well, hopefully he is carrying bricks or. But
well, at least
else.
Those are not like a Molotov cocktail.
Well, actually, that's a shame.
It's not a grenade. It's not even a grenade.
Well, you know, there actually, I do have some foreign friends, and what their feedback from the fishbowl revolution when they after they seen the footages and stuff, and they were saying, "What the hell are you guys doing? You didn't break any glass, no toes, and no Molotovs, and you set up garbage.
And you suckers call it a riot?
Yeah, and you set and you set up garbages on fire and nothing else. And yeah, that's well, actually, is a big shame of mine. Well, actually, by the time of fishbowl revolution, I felt some kind of Hong Kongers' pride. After many years, well, actually, I would say after '97, the first time I felt pride about being a Hong Konger, because, well, at least there is apparently that Hong Kongers they came together and they were bonded by some kind of reason, and they did something at least for the first time.
Stand up for themselves.
Yeah, well, and not like another picture that I've brought you guys. You can see
we've got other pictures.
We got actually we got tons of pictures, and
okay.
Well, like what we have done earlier in the earliest days of localism, we do some protests to preserve like the Queen's Pier or the Star Ferry Pier, which is really historical
significance.
Yeah, we could say that.
But could you also say like the protest against Article 23 in 2003 was also localism?
Yeah, it is. Well, I would say, well, although the protest, which is shown in the one of the picture 7, well, Ben, you can show us the picture of, yes, thank you. That is what's happening in the protest against the Article 23, and it was claimed to be how many attendance? 500,000. Well, it's pretty intensive in terms of numbers, in terms of news, but well. By the time it was organized by the Pan Dems, the Pan Democrats of Hong Kong and different organizations, Pan Dems organizations, but still there were quite a lot of citizens by the time, and they are not willing to leave after the organizers claimed to disassemble or claimed to call the day or the protests.
In 2003?
Yeah, there were actually. Well, apparently by the time there wasn't enough head counts, as we always say, so there were not enough head counts, there were not enough protesters who would tend to be an escalation seeking for an escalation. So it didn't turn up well. So probably numbers of arrests, and that's all.
Whether people are not, experienced in this back at the time.
Yeah,
It's like
probably.
the very first attempt in like thinking out of the box,
Yeah. They were still inside the kind of 和理非非 mindset. 和理非非 is 和平
peaceful,
rational,
and no foul language, no swearing, and no violence.
no swearing.
Yeah, that's an idiom to describe the traditional protest method of the old Democrats in Hong Kong.
Which wasted us more than 30 years, Hong Kongers, to fight for democracy, for freedom, whatsoever.
And yet no prevail.
Yep.
I mean, it's like constant failure.
I guess that is when everything starts. That is the point. The frustration was so much. Frustration was so high, and so many people got frustrated, and they were looking for a better way out. So people tend to identify themselves as Hong Konger, but not mainlanders, but not a Chinese. And then they were looking a way out to look for how to preserve your own identity and your freedom of speech, of even for thinking, on your freedom of protest, and your choice to choose the chief executive of Hong Kong. The guy who was supposed to be work for you, who's supposed to be work for
making
your
every
own
decision
benefit.
according to the well-being of Hong Kong people.
Yeah.
But in fact, he's just doing everything he can to bring more people from mainland China to go to Hong Kong. So make it like something like actually like colonization.
Yep, colony.
It's-
That is another term of.
I mean, not even
globalist.
the English. I mean, not even UK did that. I mean,
Yeah.
before the handover, we don't have a shitload of Brits all outside the streets doing every shit. Don't give a damn.
Well, frankly, the Brits won't shit on the street, and they won't, doing really strange stuffs.
Yeah.
So I think
So
people
what else do we
wouldn't
have?
mind if the Brits, loads of Brits are coming to Hong Kong. So I guess it's kind of a self-protect mechanism, like a self-protect mechanism of Hong Kongers to protect themselves of the invasion or the colonization from the mainlanders or the PRC.
Because they're actually crossing the line.
Yeah.
They're crossing the line, and
way over the
if
line.
we're not doing anything, like at least to let them know that that's too much.
Yeah.
And then then we have, then we're going to have something catastrophic, like for example, like nowadays when you go to the parks in Hong Kong, you see lots of daima, lots of
Daima.
daima,
Yes.
all those Chinese
well, actually, that's,
ladies or
the big moms.
Yeah, the big moms. They like playing all this loud communism music, and then you blast.
Well, actually, the communist people, the mainlanders who live in mainland apparently, and they couldn't stand the Daima themselves, and there were
They actually beat the shit out of them.
Yeah, and they even deploy some kind of sonic cannons and to try to send them out.
I think there was some Daima dancing in New York, and they got arrested.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. But
Actually, that's the right thing to do. But well, alas, we're coming into the end of this session, and I think
Yep.
we have to continue our discussion.
well, this is fast.
Yeah.
Probably we'll see you soon. Yep, we'll see you in the next episode. Sorry, the
Next
section.
Third part.
經錯過我哋精彩嘅節目，而家上嚟呢個網址就可以訂閱晒我哋8大頻道，付費之後仲可以重溫晒所有精彩嘅節目。記得要訂閱我哋嘅 YouTube channel 同埋讚好我哋嘅 Facebook 專頁啊！